Attitudes are a positive or negative evaluation of either people, objects, or issues. Okay, we all have various attitudes on different subjects. And when we look at how attitudes are constructed, they consist of three different parts. Okay, these are all components that go into forming an attitude. We can look at the cognitive aspect, which is what we're thinking. Okay, here I think country music is better than other music. Okay, this is a thought, right? A cognition. There's the affective aspect of attitudes. This is sort of our feelings and our emotions towards, in this case, the music. Okay, I like country music. It's fun and uplifting. And then we have the behavioral aspect of an attitude. Okay, what do you actually do? Okay, I buy country music CDs every chance I get. Okay, so this is just an example of the cognitive, affective, and behavioral aspects of an attitude. Now, it's important to realize that the cognitive and affective aspects of an attitude are relatively poor predictors of a behavior unless these are very, very strong. So we do see a discrepancy at times between people's attitudes, okay, and the actual behavior they exhibit. This is actually known as cognitive dissonance. And I'd like to just take you through a little example of this if you're watching. Okay, so let me speed up here. Oops. Okay, I want you to go ahead and take a few seconds here. I've put up this short survey. Okay, I'm going to give you an example of this well-known phenomenon known as cognitive dissonance. So there are 3 questions listed here, and I'm just asking you to indicate your responses from a scale of 1 to 5 about whether you disagree or agree with these statements. So go ahead and take a second to do that. Okay, hopefully you were able to answer all 3 of those questions. If not, just pause the video. I'm going to go ahead now and move on to the second part of this attitude survey. Okay, now for each of those following questions, I want you to follow up your response with a yes or no to these 3 questions posted here. Okay, so do you personally do anything to lessen poverty in our country? Do you personally do anything to lessen the pollution? Are you voting for green reps? Are you making fewer trips in your car? And number 3, do you exercise your freedom of speech by actively participating in meetings and protests? Are we writing our congressional representatives? Okay, the point of going through this, many people, not all, okay, will exhibit fairly strong attitudes on these questions. We may believe or agree that poverty is a really serious problem, or that pollution is one of the biggest issues that we're facing today, or that freedom of speech is one of our most important rights. Many of us may share those attitudes quite strongly, okay, but oftentimes for many of us, not all, there's a discrepancy. Our behaviors are not as extreme as those attitudes. So, I may personally think that freedom of speech is really important, but I have not written a congressional representative. So I'm just giving you one example from myself. And typically we can see these discrepancies between our extreme attitudes and some of our behaviors. They're not always in line. This is what's called cognitive dissonance. Now, the idea is that inconsistencies between our attitudes and actual behavior, when made apparent, can create a little bit of emotional discomfort within us. And this uncomfortable state can motivate us to either change our attitude or to make our behavior consistent with our attitude. So this is a well-known phenomenon in social psychology, this notion of cognitive dissonance. And you should be familiar with it. It's the idea that people are motivated to reduce the discrepancies between their cognitions and behaviors.